Thank you. One important factor at play here is the current makeup of the Supreme Court. There are 3 women and 6 men on the court. It is the same ideological split as well. 3 are traditionally liberal, 6 lean conservative. Now, there's so much to break down, as we were saying, and we want to bring in a legal expert this morning, Eric Cedillo. He is a law professor at SMU, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Eric.
Good morning.
All right, first off, there's a lot of reaction coming in from both ways this morning. This is something very rare to see when it comes to this draft opinion and this leak. What is your take on that?
Yeah, the leak itself is huge. Of course, we've had other breaches before historically, certainly justices changing their mind, changing their opinion, but never an actual opinion being proffered, before the actual ruling has come out. So this is a big deal. As you had mentioned, Justice Roberts is going to get to the bottom of it, and depending on who it was, perhaps someone might be fired. If it's a justice that created the leak, we may never hear about it again, but we'll see what happens.
Right, Eric, this is a draft version written in February, so the final opinion, it could be quite different. Is that possible?
That's very possible. This coming out and seeing it initially, there's a very real possibility that Justice Roberts had some concerns about this. The actual opinion, how far it goes. There's talk about the possibility of Kavanaugh potentially changing his mind. So you never know. There's still some hope for those who feel as though Roe v. Wade should not be overturned. So there's always that. Their official opinion may come out in June or July, and a lot of things can happen until then.
I know there's a lot you can say to this question here. If you can give us the short version. I mean, there are people out there watching right now wondering what will really happen if this deep-rooted case is truly overturned. What does this really mean?
Well, for people who are seeking access to an abortion, people who have choice currently may not have that. Of course, as was mentioned earlier, the trigger law here in Texas is that 30 days after Roe v. Wade is overturned, abortion will be illegal here in the state of Texas. And we're seeing that along some of the other border states as well, Arkansas and Oklahoma, Louisiana. So it's a situation where people here in the state of Texas are going to have a hard time finding access to that possibility in the future if Roe v. Wade is in fact overturned.
Right. Is there discussion right now about those trigger states?
Certainly the trigger states and additional legislation because of what's happened. Now this has prompted the ability of these state legislatures to actually take action. Of course, our state of Texas is out of session, but next year is one of the reasons why they passed the trigger law. So if something like this happened during this off year, they have the ability to affect it. So we're going to see some movement, I think. A number of states are moving towards at least 13 or 14 of them will be moving in that direction.
Wow. Before we go here, do you think the justices will take into account, I guess, comments that we're hearing now from like President Biden?
Like I said, there may be 2 justices that may have some room for movement. And that's Justice Roberts and of course, Justice Kavanaugh. Unfortunately, if Kavanaugh doesn't move, Roberts doesn't matter. So they've got the 5 that they need to kind of go forward with the overturn. So it really is up to Kavanaugh. And again, that possibility may exist that this may not be the final word on what happens. There may be a less dramatic shift than what this opinion is proffering currently.
And any idea when we may, I guess, likely get a real opinion on this case?
Yeah, they'll usually come out late June, early July. So that's probably sometime this summer that the official opinion will actually come out.
All right, Eric, thank you so much for joining us this midday. Thank you for your insight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.